Candlestick Park in San Francisco on a beautiful Northern California evening. Big game in the NFC's Western Division. The New Orleans Saints and the San Francisco 49ers. And welcome, everybody, to the final game of a wild NFL weekend. We could have more of the same tonight. The New Orleans Saints come in tonight desperately needing a win to stay close to the San Francisco 49ers in this NFC Divisional Western Division. And, of course, the San Francisco 49ers off to a great start. They are 7-1 on this season, but the Saints are coming in with a red-hot quarterback, Bobby Hebert, and a defense is gradually emerging as one of the finest in the NFL. They are on a bit of a roll, but the 49ers, well, you've already seen they have been on a roll throughout the entire decade, and they continue. They know if they win tonight, they will stay tied with the Giants for the NFL's best record, and they will have a 3-game lead over the Rams in their division. They have been doing it not with mirrors, but as you watch this football team perform now, you realize that they're doing it without a lot of key people. They've had Ronnie Lott out of the lineup. Joe Montana's been out of it. And a lot of other key players that you think would at least lose one along the line somewhere.
It's amazing, Frank. They just haven't missed a beat. Walsh leaves after 10 years, the last 8 spectacular seasons. Seifert comes in. They go through a lot of really difficult situations this year with Montana missing 2 of the last 3 games. Ronnie Lott has missed 5 consecutive games. Each is back in the lineup tonight. Now they have another problem. Michael Carter is out. They have to wonder about Keena Turner. He is hurt as well. But still, through it all, they are 7-1. And not only that, they are 6-0 on the road. That means of the final 8 games of the season, 6 are here at Candlestick Park, including the next 4 in a row. So the 49ers try to go to 8-1 tonight, and Dan, the New Orleans Saints try to go to 5-4. They were 1-4. They won 3 in a row. But tonight's game, obviously, a very vital game for the Saints.
Really, Al. You know, they were out of it there at 1-4. Nobody gave them a chance. And now, miraculously, the Saints have battled their way back into it. And they got a lot of help over the weekend. I think if Jim Moore could have drawn up a script, the teams that lost would have lost. I mean, you're looking at the Eagles and the Bears and the Rams and the Redskins. A lot of the teams that the Saints are competing with for wild card positioning all lost. Now it's time for the Saints to help themselves, and can they do it? They're playing the world champions. They're playing on the road. What do you need to win on the road against the world champions? You need a tremendous defense. And take my word for it, the Saints have that. The #1 team in the NFL against the rushing, and against the rush, rather. And to beat the 49ers, to beat them here at Candlestick, they'll need it all and more.
And so as this crowd settles in at just past 6 o'clock in San Francisco, incredibly enough, this is only the 2nd game this season the 49ers have played in this stadium. There is Jim Mora, the coach of the New Orleans Saints. The 49ers were scheduled under George Seifert to have played 3 home games by now, but one of the home games was to have been played October 8th against the New Orleans Saints, and because the Giants got into the baseball playoffs and eventually the World Series, they flip-flopped these games. This game originally scheduled for New Orleans, and then the weekend following the earthquake, because Candlestick Park was not ready for football or baseball that weekend, they moved a home game to Stanford Stadium. And in that game, Joe Montana was hurt. He left the game with a sprained knee. Then he missed last week's game at the Meadowlands against the New York Jets, but Steve Young and Steve Bono led the 49ers to a 23-10 victory, and Montana will be back at the helm tonight. The 2 top quarterbacks in the NFL through the first half of the season are matched up in this one as we get set for Monday Night Football from Candlestick Park. Rod Harris, Gene Atkins, and Bobby Morris drop back deep to receive for the New Orleans Saints. And Mike Colfer to kick off for the 49ers. So the 49ers trying to go 3 games up on the Rams in the West, trying to go 4 games up on New Orleans, and this one is underway at Candlestick Park. Colfer's kick fielded at the 2-yard line by Rod Harris, out past the 20, and Harris to the 23-yard line. The rookie from Texas A&M is stopped there by Darryl Pollard. Bobby Hebert has been very hot over the last 3 weeks. The Saints have not only done it with great defense in their 3-game winning streak, but with Hebert as hot as he's been in his career. Hilliard and Buford Jordan are the running backs. Jordan spells Craig Hayward. Martin and Hill are the wideouts, and Brenner is the tight end. And there are the guys up front, the veteran Stan Brock, number 67, the right tackle. 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line. They split Jordan to the right, give it to Hilliard, their main man, and Hilliard takes it out to the 29-yard line. A pickup of 6. The linebacker, Michael Walter, number 99, in on the tackle. The 49er defense, again, minus Michael Carter. Keith Kugler spells Carter at nose tackle, and Kevin Fagan. And then the linebackers, Haley can line up or down. He's the pass rush specialist. Millen, released by the Raiders earlier this season. And the revamped secondary, minus Fuller, minus McKyer, who is now second string, but Lott has come back at free safety. 2nd and 4 from the 29-yard line. And it's Hilliard again, fighting his way out to the 34-yard line for what should be a first down. Michael Walter in on the tackle. And Hilliard picking right up where he left off last week. In fact, over the last 3 weeks, he and Hebert and the defense have been the keys. And timeout on the field. There is an injured Saint. It's Brad Edelman, the left guard, number 63, who needs the attention.
Edelman came into tonight suffering with a back injury, and right now they are looking at the left leg, but he's had on and off back trouble throughout the entire season.
Kevin
But he's able to put the weight on his foot. He's able to support himself as he goes off, and that's good news for Brad Edelman and the Saints. Al mentioned that it would be Kevin Haberdink who will fill in, the rookie out of Western Michigan. He's big, but obviously inexperienced. 6'5", 285-pounder.
So he lines up on the left side with Hebert leading the Saints to the line at the 34-yard line. On 1st and 10, Bobby's first pass of the game is knocked down at the line of scrimmage by the big hand of Haley. Charles Haley, number 94, the sack specialist, batting that one down.
Well, you see, the Saints had to make an adjustment. Haberdink came into the line to play, but he's also playing out at left tackle. Dombrowski moves into the inside, and this is nothing but push by Mr. Haley inside, working against Hilgenberg. And that is a pressure move, nothing more than moving your man back a couple of yards and then timing your leap to knock it down. Great feel for the ball, Charles Haley.
Saints come up in the eye, 2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line. And this is Hilliard finding the hole out past the 40 and then pushed back by Kevin Fagan, number 75, and that'll set up a 3rd down and about 3.
Saints use Hilliard much as the 49ers use Roger Craig. He is the principal man in the running game. Last week against Atlanta, he had 190 yards of offense, 93 rushing, 97 receiving. And they'll use him much as the 49ers will use Roger Craig. Very similar offenses, too. They're very high percentage stuff. They don't take a lot of risk either ball club. They'll throw the ball underneath to the back, do some slant ends, do some crossing patterns. Both of them very high percentage with their offensive scheme.
Out of the shotgun, 3rd and a long 3. The Niners nearly jump, and in fact, contact is made, and all kinds of flags are thrown. 4, in fact.
Well, you can see the Saints jump a little bit, but if one of the 49ers touched him before he moved,
78 defense.
That's it.
5 yards, first down.
Pierce Holt, and he came across the line and made contact. And that's the end of that play. There's Holt. Oh, and you see his left arm come out, and he hit Steve Trapillo, the right guard. So that's an easy first down for New Orleans.
And that's back-to-back first downs for the Saints. Out at the 45-yard line. 1st and 10. Fake to Hilliard, and look out. And would you say that Holt made up for that last penalty?
That's what he had in mind on the last play. That was naked as Bobby Hebert rolling out naked, sending backs to the left. Nobody even touched Holt, and he was into Hebert before he could do anything. Here's Holt right here, and this is nothing more than honoring your responsibilities. Everything goes away. The right guard pulls away. The right tackle pulls away. They're faking a trap, but Pierce Holt is buying none of that. He's going to go upfield. Boy, you need a defensive end who's going to bite and close in on the trap coming at him, and Pierce Holt did not oblige.
3.5 sacks this season now for Pierce Holt. second down and 19 from the 36-yard line. And Hilliard takes it out to the 40. It'll be third down and about 16 with Eric Wright and Johnny Jackson converging on the tackle. Dalton Hilliard out of LSU, Bobby Hebert out of Northwestern Louisiana. Saints like to stay at home. A lot of fellas, not only from Southeastern Conference schools and schools in Louisiana, but from the area, and a lot of their key people as well, guys like Floyd Turner, Paul Frazier, the rookies, upholding the tradition. Third and 14 from the 41. Hebert stepping up and then throwing complete to the 45-yard line to Brett Perriman, and he stopped at the 46. And so after 2 first downs, the Niners hold the Saints. New Orleans forced a kick. Wright and Pollard in on the last tackle. 11 minutes to play in a scoreless opening quarter. Tommy Barnhart to kick. That number on the left, the average, is not very good, but it's very deceiving. A lot of his kicks have been from near the 50-yard line. He's angled them out of bounds, or they've dropped dead inside the 20. He's been doing a fine job, all things considered. And Barnhart's kick this time is a decent one. A fair catch is called for and made at the 21-yard line by John Taylor, and the 49ers and Joe Montana will take over there. 10:31 to go in the first quarter in San Francisco. San Francisco has the ball at the 22-yard line. The 49ers have their first possession of the night upcoming. Joe Montana, 3 weeks ago, out with a sprained elbow and missed the Dallas game. Then came back to help lead them to a victory over New England, but sprained his knee in that one, missed the Jets game. And so here he is making his 7th start of the season, and this is the 49ers' 9th game in his 11th year. Joe Montana, 3 Super Bowl rings, and the 49ers with a 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line with Roger Craig going in motion. Montana, a short drop. The pass is caught by Taylor, and a first down out at the 35-yard line. And you'd never know that Seifert's the coach. That's the same way they might open up with Bill Walsh and did many times over 10 years. Here they are offensively. Craig and Rathman are the running backs. Taylor and Rice, the great wide receivers, and Brent Jones, the tight end. The offensive line, they've had some problems up front, but they're getting better and better. You'll see Tausch a lot at guard. And Steve Wallace will spell Paris from time to time at tackle. From the 35-yard line, Roger Craig out to the 40-yard line. It has not been a vintage season thus far for Craig, and some of the problems have to do with the adjustments on the offensive line, but he is starting to get it in gear. Gain of 5 here, and defensively for the Saints, who've been terrific over the last 3 weeks. Wilkes, the longtime defensive end, has moved to nose tackle, flanked by Warren and Gethers. Ricky Jackson, Mills, Johnson, and Swilling's been on a tear lately. Massey Cook, Atkins, and Dave Waymer, the free safety, was a teammate of Montana's at Notre Dame in the late 70s. From the 35-yard line, Montana's going for a first down and more as Taylor goes out of bounds at the Saint 46-yard line.
There's a list that George Seifert is looking at. He has not changed from Bill Walsh in the sense that the plays were given, some 15 of them, to the 49ers last night, and barring anything unforeseen, they would go out and run all 15 of them. Crossing pattern underneath, very high percentage, safe pass to John Taylor, who in the first game, when Montana threw 3 touchdown passes, Taylor had 2 of them. Rice had the other one. But this next play will be on the list.
Rice goes in motion from the 45-yard line. Little misdirection with Craig pulled down from behind by Pat Swilling as he takes it to the 43-yard line, and we'll take an isolated look at number 56, Pat Swilling.
Here's a guy that is really back into the play, and the 56 that he wears shares that with Lawrence Taylor, and in many ways they're players that share a lot in common. Great pass rusher, 8 sacks in the last 4 games for Pat Swilling.
Rathman in motion, 2nd and 8. A little toss to Roger Craig. He has room, but it closes in a hurry. Vaughn Johnson smacking him at the 39-yard line.
Smacking him. Oh, pretty good choice of words now. That was a smack.
hear so much about linebackers from various teams, but the New Orleans Saints are not second to many teams, with Jackson on the outside of Swilling and Von Johnson, the #1 draft pick those many years ago, putting a smashing hit on Craig. They have another inside linebacker, Sam Mills, is 5'9", a 225-pounder. He too can hit.
3rd down and 4. From the 39-yard line, Montana protected well, throws, hits Rathman, and a 1st down. They love to go to Rathman as a receiver. That's his 38th catch of the year for the fullback out of Nebraska. 1st down, 49ers.
Look at the way the 49ers are getting back and getting rid of the football, too. I think you're looking at several things here. One, a great pass rush by the New Orleans Saints, so Joe Montana doesn't want to sit on the ball, even if he's 100% healthy. Secondly, he's nursing the bad leg. You know he doesn't want to stand in the pocket and take a shot. I think New Orleans has got to realize pretty quickly that Montana is going to throw rhythm passes, at least early in this ballgame, getting rid of the ball in a hurry.
From the 34-yard line, Craig goes through the middle. There's not much there, and he picks up about 2. So the 49ers, as they did with Walsh, a lot of different looks in the early stages of the game, running and passing and mixing it up very, very well.
New Orleans coming into tonight led the NFL against the rush. They have allowed only 77 yards per game average running the ball, but again, Seifert will, as you look at the last 3 games, but you've got to keep that defense honest, so you'll see Craig sent inside just to make sure they don't disregard the run totally and go for Montana in the pass.
2nd and 8 from the 32-yard line. Montana, that short drop, and then a little slant to Rice. Rice inside the 15, the 10. Touchdown, Jerry Rice.
Oh, he's magic. Not bad either. He is bad. It's a crossing pattern. They use it again. It's a high percentage stuff. And Montana with a quick look, short drop, hits Rice, and then Rice just does the rest of it as a great athlete.
Well, you can see right off the bat that the 49ers and Joe Montana are not going to tangle with the pass rush of the Saints. 1, 2, 3, drop. This is just an ordinary completion. Robert Massey lost his footing. When Jerry Rice made his break to the inside, Massey went down, and then it's like the rest of the secondary. I know they were trying, but the greatness of a Jerry Rice, it looks like a man among boys heading for the end zone.
The NFL new 49er record, isn't it, for Rice? Or he ties one. Gene Washington's record of 59 touchdown receptions. He's doing it all so quickly. Well, now in his only 5th year.
6 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter at Candlestick Park, where the 49ers lead it 7-0 as they go 78 yards. And it culminates with a Montana to Rice pass for 32. Rod Harris, the rookie from Texas A&M, is back. He's in the middle, flanked by Gene Atkins and Bobby Morris, as Cofer puts it in the air. This time a shorter kick at the 10-yard line. It's Rod Harris. And he brings it back out to the 26-yard line, and the Saints take over at that spot for their 2nd possession. Their first resulted in 2 first downs and then a punt, a little skirmish right there. Ronnie Lott involved in it for the moment. Not much action, and the Saints ready to take over at the 26 with Bobby Hebert. And again, it's Kaepernick in the game, spelling the injured Edelman. Meanwhile, it's almost like when Steve Carlton and Nolan Ryan were going head-to-head when they were both active in strikeouts, Rice and Craig, in a good battle for touchdowns and in touchdown receptions. Gene Washington has now been tied by Jerry Rice for the all-time 49er mark. Saints from the 26-yard line. Hebert throwing into traffic, and it's dropped at the 40-yard line, and it's incomplete. Dropped by Hobie Brenner, no fumble, incomplete. Michael Walter and Chet Brooks converge to dislodge it.
What a perfect pass, though, from Bobby Hebert. Hobie Brenner is splitting the coverage right between 2 49ers. Now, that's, of course, why he takes such a big shot, but what a wonderful throw. That time by Bobby Hebert. Michael Walter's going to get in there and make the shot, but look at the touch on the ball right onto the hand. Boy, that was something special. And then Chet Brooks comes in and pops it loose. Hobie Brenner tried, but beautiful throw by Hebert.
Jordan goes in motion from the 26-yard line, and they give it to Hilliard. Big hole, and he exploits it. Gets out past the 40 and spins his way out to the 45-yard line, where Darrell Pollard makes the tackle. A 19-yard pickup for Dalton Hilliard.
Well, that's just great running on the part of Hilliard. He's only 5'8", but he has enormous thighs, and he is so quick. The little opening. Now watch this move right there. Just totally juking the man right off his feet, Eric Wright, and getting the first down out of the 45-yard line. But at 5'8" and 204 pounds, this is quite a package. Great strength in those legs.
From the 45-yard line, 1st and 10, New Orleans. 49ers on top 7-0. 5.5 minutes to play in the opening period. And this time he picks up about 4. Michael Walter and Matt Millen and Ronnie Lott also entering the picture. And in fact, entering the picture a bit too late, according to Jim Tunney.
Ronnie Lott is back.
Yeah, he's
That's
back.
characteristic of him.
He's back 15 yards. I mean, that is really a late hit by this guy. He's out 5 weeks. You can understand maybe wanting a taste for combat and for contact. But this is drastically late.
Number 42, 15 yards.
Now watch this. Hilliard is now down, and there comes Ronnie Lott, helmet first. And that's going to draw a flag in any game on any field. I mean, they're sizing a guy up and just putting a hat right on him. A blatant cheap shot by Ronnie Lott. A classy player making an unclassy move.
1st and 10, Saints at the 36-yard line. And this time Hilliard is split to the left. Jordan is the sole setback. And Hebert going deep, but a little too deep for Eric Martin, who had sprung free. 2nd and 10. Martin, a big play man this season. He's averaging almost 19 yards a reception. And that's an area in which the Saints fans had been critical in the past, figuring that New Orleans had been too conservative offensively, and they've begun to open it up just a bit more this season.
They've been a big play team passing this year, whereas in the past they haven't. But that time Martin was wide open, crossing with Hill, and Hebert, who had just shown that great touch a few moments ago in that pass to Brenner, just overthrew it.
2nd and 10. Saints at the 49er 36-yard line. And Hilliard gets taken down. A nice tackle made by Kevin Fagan, who got him around the ankles and brought him down at the 34-yard line, short of the first down by about 7. And 3rd and 7 upcoming.
And that very well might have been a first down for New Orleans, if not for that tackle by Kevin Fagan. Hilliard was just a half a step from getting around the corner. The only 49er he would have had to deal with was Ronnie Lott, and that would have been for another 6 or 7 yards down the field.
3rd and 7 with Hebert out of the shotgun from the 33-yard line. Four-man rush. Hebert under pressure, gets it away, coming back to make the catch is Lonzel Hill. First down at the 14-yard line, tackled by Pollard. And the rush put on that time by Larry Roberts, who was draped around Hebert as he released a 19-yard pickup.
And that's why the ball flutters down there. I mean, this might have been a situation where Roberts could have come to the sidelines receiving congratulations for causing an interception. As this ball comes out of here real slow, and it's really a pop-up. And Hill is the guy that's able to make the correction. Pollard reacts to it way too late, and New Orleans getting a decent drive when they need it.
Son of the great former receiver, J.D. Hill, gives him a first down at the 14-yard line. Saints on the move after a 49er touchdown drive. Hebert protected well this time, throws, and the catch is made at the 6 by Hobie Brenner, who gets taken down by Matt Millen at the 6-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 2, and a perfect throw by Hebert.
Millen's got to be saying, Frank, I'm sorry, I can't cover a guy any better than this.
And again, a perfect touch by Hebert into the tight end, Hobie Brenner. Let's look at it. This time, Brenner comes down with the football, and Millen is right there, the former Pro Bowler from the Raiders. He was draped all over Brenner, but Hebert put it just exactly right for Brenner.
2nd and a short 2 at the 6-yard line. 2.5 minutes to go. First quarter, 7-0 San Francisco. Hilliard on 2nd and 2 picks up the first down. It'll be 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. Pushed back by Ronnie Lott, among others. The Saints this season have had 14 first and goal situations, and they've converted 13 of them into touchdowns. So they know how to get it in from here.
That is really an incredible stat. It's the toughest part of the field to get much of anything done. The entire defense is condensed, and to convert 13 out of 14 times into touchdowns, the best in the NFL.
1st and goal just inside the 3-yard line. Jordan takes it to the 1-yard line. Craig Hayward this week missed practice time because of a personal problem, had to go back to Pittsburgh. Jordan's been bothered by a hamstring, but he is now healthy, and that's why he is in there tonight and not Ironhead.
He's been out for 4 weeks with that hamstring, and might recall that at the end of last year he had replaced Hayward as a starting fullback, and early in this year he was the starter until he pulled that hamstring. But it has to be just a little bit rusty. He's been out for a long time, and as you mentioned, Hayward with personal problems, sick child, missed a couple of practice days this week.
10th play of the drive coming up, 2nd and goal. Jordan and Hilliard in the backfield. It's Hilliard looking for room, cuts inside, and is over for the touchdown behind Jim Dombrowski. Nice little adjustment made by Hilliard to find the spot and get it in. And the Saints counter a 49er touchdown drive with one of their own.
Actually, Dombrowski pulls on the trap. He's moved into left guard since Brad Edelman has left, and he traps Ronnie Lott, who comes across the line of scrimmage. Look at Dombrowski, number 72. He's going to get out in front. See him kick Lott to the outside. It's read by Hilliard, and he jumps back to the inside. A great measure of a team's mental toughness, how well they operate near the goal line. And I think the Saints proving that they're the best in the league, a mentally tough team.
Morton Anderson boots it through, and with 1 minute and 15 seconds to play in the first quarter, the game tied 7-7. 49ers trying to go up by 3 in the West, and the Saints trying to make it close in the West. Saints with a long drive that ends with a 1-yard run by Hilliard for the touchdown. The last time these two teams met on October 8th, the Saints that day rushed for a total of 35 yards. Tonight already 53 yards. Anderson's kick taken at the 6-yard line by Terrence Flagler, and he is dropped out at about the 15-yard line by Walter Johnson, number 90. Offensive line, and again, there is Edelman, who had come out of the game, as they talk things over, and we'll be back in a moment. Steve Young is the backup 49er quarterback. He helped lead them to a victory last week. Then he had to leave with knee and ankle injuries. Montana back. Joe, as we mentioned, has missed 2 of the last 3 weeks, and you'd never know it on that first drive, leading them 78 yards. And here he begins this one from the 15-yard line. 1st and 10. 1:05 to play, first quarter at Candlestick Park, and the game is tied 7-7. Joe Montana. 108.9 is pass rating for this season. He's first. Hebert is second in the league. Rice goes in motion. Montana 5-step drop, then throws. Wide open is Roger Craig, and Craig almost to the first down marker, not quite. It'll be 2nd and 1. Cook and Johnson in on the tackle.
Let's go back and take a look at New Orleans tying touchdown. 300-pound pulling guard. Ronnie has to say, hey, wait a minute, this was not in the job description. Give me another few weeks.
2nd and inches, and they don't get those inches. And Roger Craig gets spun back to the 21 by Frank Warren. So it goes from 2nd and 1 to 3rd and about 4.
Well, we've been watching this game for a long time, and when you start talking about numbers like the Saints and their defense are putting up, only 77 yards a game through half of an NFL season on the ground. That's an extraordinary number. It's difficult to lose a game. There's Steve Sidwell, their defensive coordinator. It's tough to lose when you give up less than 100 yards rushing.
Third down and 4. Montana on his first roll of the night. Lost one. It's caught by Rathman. He breaks the tackle, takes it to the 41-yard line as the quarter will come to an end. Rathman on 3rd and 4 makes the catch out to the 41, his second reception of the night. Rathman is their second leading receiver behind only Rice, his 39th of the year. A 21-yard gain, and that takes us to the 15-minute mark.
He was not even thinking about stepping out of bounds, Tom Rathman. He loves to play this game. He's out a couple hours early. He just turns it north and south for Tom Rathman.
Back after this message and a word from our ABC station. In San Francisco, we start the second quarter. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, a 7-7 tie. The 49ers with a 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. Joe Montana had a perfect first quarter. Saints nearly jumped, but there is no flag. And then the catch is made out at the 45-yard line by John Taylor, his 3rd reception of the night. And we'll take a look at the numbers through the first 15 minutes of play. Meanwhile, Montana is now 7 for 7.
Time of possession there. The Saints dominating, but again, we have a 7-7 ball game. And John Taylor, they're laying off John Taylor considerably, and they did that in the last game, and they'll throw to him underneath and just count on his broken field running to make a little one into a big one. And he's very capable of doing it.
2nd and 5. He now sends Taylor wider to the left. And Montana stepping up, firing. Catch is made at the 43-yard line by the tight end, Brent Jones. He takes it to the 37, tackled by Sam Mills, a 1st down.
What a difficult throw for a quarterback to make. First of all, you're unsettled. You have to move to buy a little more time. But then your receiver is moving from your right to your left, perfectly parallel to where you are. So in other words, it's not a situation of dropping the ball over the top or anything like that. And Joe Montana buying a little extra time and just throwing a perfect pass. Watch the right of your screen. There comes Jones across the middle. And just look at it. Look at the lead right out on the hands. Could not have been better by Joe Montana.
1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Montana throwing wide open is Rathman, and Rathman is taken down at the 31-yard line after a pickup of about 6. Gene Atkins, the safety, makes the tackle. So many weapons. Rice and Taylor, and they throw to Craig, of course, a lot, and Rathman and Brent Jones.
What a well-conceived play for the 49ers. They fled both backs out of the backfield. Craig naturally is going to draw primary attention. He takes a deep downfield. You bring Rathman right behind him. You almost guarantee he's going to be covered like with a linebacker. He was wide open and gets the reception.
When you throw for 71% or better, that'll win. And Joe Montana, he hasn't missed yet, has he?
Yeah, that knee's really bothering him, huh?
Yeah.
2nd and 4. Here's Rathman, a 1st down, taking it to the 26-yard line.
Montana's ended tonight, passing at 68.6. Possibly couldn't have a 70% season. Hasn't been done since Kenny Anderson did it in a strike-shortened season back in '82, and the last time prior to that was way back there, Sammy Baugh.
What is he, 9 for 9 so far tonight? Joe Montana off to a perfect start.
In 1987, he set the NFL record with 22 consecutive completions over a 2-game period, 5 against Cleveland and then 17 the following week against Green Bay. A little problem at the inception of that play, but no problem at the end for Rathman taking it to the 16-yard line. He is stopped by Dave Waymer. So not the best executed play, but it works nonetheless.
I wonder how many of the 49er players understand this play. You had 3 or 4 going one way, 3 or 4 going another.
Looked like a fire drill.
Look at this. Half the line is one way, half the line is other. Roger Craig is going to his right. Tom Rathman somehow gets the ball from Joe Montana. And if it's not for Dave Waymer, he may have scored. Dave Waymer makes the good open field tackler. Tom Rathman may have found the end zone.
And when all is said and done, it's a 9-yard gain.
That's the one, if we went to illustrate that play, it would be a whiteout.
2nd and 1 from the 16-yard line. Fake to Rathman, and he fires inside the 5-yard line to Jerry Rice. It'll be 1st and goal.
The diabolical Dr. Montana is in the operating room.
New Orleans sitting back there in their zone defense, looking for a pass rush. Montana just taking about a 5-step quick drop. Rice reads it right away, steps to the inside, finds that seam, and is wide open, and Montana threads the needle.
Well, I know one thing, that Robert Massey, the rookie of the New Orleans Saints, their number 2 draft choice this year, locked up on Jerry Rice, is a mismatch that the 49ers are going to attempt to exploit all night long.
Split back set, first and goal from the 2-yard line. They send Rice in motion. Montana on a roll. Montana throws. Touchdown. Jerry Rice again.
When you watch the 49ers, you realize that maybe it's not as complicated a game as some people might think. Just get the ball to Jerry Rice. A beautiful, beautiful drive by the 49ers. Precision.
2 beautiful drives by the 49ers.
And Rice sets that 49er record that he tied a short while ago. His 11th touchdown this season.
Well, Neil Anderson has 10, the Bear running back. Hilliard got his 11th earlier, and now Rice with 2 tonight has 11. And the Niners are on top again with 10.5 minutes to go in the first half. Helton holds. Kofer's kick is good. And the 49ers on 2 long drives lead by a score of 14-7.
Jerry Rice came in motion across the backfield. Brett Maxey is going to try to come all the way across, number 39. Antonio Gibson was there, but not his man. But look at Maxey. How'd you like to be Brett Maxey? You got to chase this guy all the way across the field and try to keep him from making just a couple of yards and a touchdown. Not going to happen. Whether it's 2 yards, 20, or 80, this guy's going to score.
Shooting about last night in Grant Park, and we ran over after the shooting to get into the stadium. The Bears were playing Green Bay Packers. The play I remember, and play everyone remembers, is William.
And back at Candlestick Park, 14-7 is the score, with the 49ers on 2 possessions, moving down the field with aplomb and with deftness and with perfection from that man, Joe Montana, who is now 11 for 11.
With aplomb and deftness.
Aplomb.
Isn't it wonderful just to be in the booth with this guy? Marvelous.
Hey, let me put this thesaurus away for a second here. Get the speed card back out. At the 11-yard line, this is Rod Harris taking it out to the 31-yard line. And, you know, it's an amazing thing. Bill Walsh with such great success, and then George Seifert takes over, and they're picking right up where they left off.
Hasn't changed a whole lot either as you look down. And George Seifert, I think, has handled probably one of the major problems anyone has when they replace what basically was a legend around here.
Well, how about not only who's coaching, but who's playing? I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's Joe Montana or Steve Bono or Steve Young at quarterback. I mean, they're interchangeable parts. I think you have to look at the organization. You have to start with Eddie DeBartolo and come all the way down the line. This is not just a good football team. This is a good football organization.
Or Sonny Bono could probably do it at this point. From the 32-yard line, this is Dalton Hilliard, wrapped up after a gain of 4. And you know, when you see that type of a tackle, that number 42 is at the other end. Ronnie Lott at the 36-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Meanwhile, good doubleheader coming up for you this week, or what amounts to a split national for us, as the Rose Bowl race really heats up. You will see either Michigan against Illinois, with the winner most likely going to Pasadena January 1st, or USC against Arizona. The Trojans very much in the driver's seat for a return spot at the Rose Bowl. That begins at 3:30 Eastern and 12:30 Pacific this Saturday. 2nd and 6 from the 36-yard line. Fake to Hilliard. Hebert with time, throws, and it's broken up, just broken up by Don Griffin at the very last moment.
Here's Don Griffin. He's one-on-one with Lonzel Hill, and he's beaten right there. He is just a little bit out of the play, but look how the ball is a little underthrown. You can see Hill had to delay, slow down, and that allows Griffin to come back into it and get his hands on the ball. Good recovery that time by Don Griffin.
3rd down and 6. Saints at the 36-yard line. Hebert lining up in the shotgun. Play clock down to 5 seconds. Down to 3 seconds. And he just gets it off on a low snap, and on 3rd and 6, open over the middle is Brenner, and he has a first down as he takes it out to the 45-yard line, and he is tackled there by Pollard and Griffin.
Talk so much about Montana, his high percentage of completions coming into tonight. Bobby Hebert was throwing at just under 67%, coming off of several hot games, and the last 5 consecutive games he's passed for over 250 yards, so he's right behind Joe Montana as the number 2 passer in the NFL. So we're looking at 1 and 2 tonight.
Montana's been perfect tonight. Hebert is 4 of 8 for 42 yards. 1st and 10, New Orleans at the Saints' 45-yard line. Hilliard behind Jordan into 49er territory, a 9-yard gain. He's tackled by Walter, who's a little shaken up on the play, but Michael gets up, favoring his right arm.
Yeah, Michael gets up, but that right arm is hanging. You know, you talk about these are the number 1 and the number 2 rated passers. I think a lot of that has to do with the system in which they operate. Both of them are ball control type of passing operations, the short stuff underneath, the quick rhythm passers. Neither one of these guys is what you might call your classic 7-step drop back quarterback that stands there, holds it, pumps once or twice, and then gets rid of it. A lot of it has to do with the system, but these two execute it to perfection.
2nd and 1 at the 46. Hilliard gets that 1 and about 4 more, taking it to the 41-yard line. Pierce Holt makes the tackle, and we have about 7:40 remaining in the first half. San Francisco on top 14-7. We'll see the Niners twice more on our Monday night schedule. And next week to the House of Pain we go. Warren Moon had a big day yesterday to lead the Oilers over Detroit, but the Bengals have to rebound after losing to the Raiders. Cincinnati and Houston next Monday night.
They'll be mumbling something like Bo, Bo, Bo.
Yeah.
What a remarkable day for Bo Jackson yesterday against Cincinnati.
From the 41-yard line, Jackson, by the way, did something. We'll get to it in a second that nobody else has done as Hebert throws, and it's a little bit behind the intended receiver, Lonzel Hill. You realize that nobody in the history of the National Football League has ever had 2 runs of over 90 yards until Bo Jackson.
We saw one of them on Monday Night Football last year up in Seattle, and then again yesterday against the Bengals. What, we went 92 yesterday and 91 in our game up in Seattle. 2 years ago, I guess it was in Seattle, not last year.
He's a threat to do it anytime he gets his hands on.
Yep. And both of them runs of the same type, up the far sideline, and someone has the angle on him, and that angle was not to be. Away he went.
And in true Raider fashion, both of them around the left side. On 2nd and 10, Hill makes the catch. Hill running parallel along the 25-yard line and is dropped there finally by Michael Walter, a first down.
It appears to me, Frank, that the Saints are serving notice. After both of the 49er touchdown drives, they've come back with good drives of their own, and Lonzel Hill here keeps it alive.
Again, much like the 49ers, we talked about the obvious similarity of the two teams, a little crossing pattern he had to keep in mind. Now, he came close at one point to losing the first down he already had, but he stayed with it and got the first down. But a little crossing pattern again. High percentage stuff. We talked about it earlier. Both the 49ers and the Saints, they like that kind of offense. Consequently, high percentage passing.
Jordan in motion after that 16-yard pickup. And this time Hilliard is wrapped up by Haley, but he's still able to fight forward and pick up an extra 1.5 yards or 2 yards, taking it down to the 21-yard line.
I think it's the one thing that's been overlooked over really the decade of the 80s with these 49ers and lost in so much of the celebrity of Joe Montana and Roger Craig and now Jerry Rice, is the fact that this defensive unit has been absolutely superb and coached by this man for so many years under Bill Walsh. They were the top team in the NFL in 1987. They were 3rd last year, and they're always right there in the top 5, and that makes a big difference. They get the ball back, great field position for their offense.
2nd and 7 from the 22-yard line. Hilliard, and he's wrapped up as Pollard and Walter converge on the tackle for no gain. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
This defense really has never had the comparable big names, with the exception perhaps of Ronnie Lott. A lot of players have come in and gone, but they have maintained those big numbers, always in the top 5. Look at the legs I spoke of a moment ago. Big thighs. He's only 5'8", but he weighs 204 pounds, and so much of it in the lower part of his body.
Hebert from the shotgun, 3rd down and 7 from just inside the 22-yard line. Just a 3-man rush, and the pass is lost in and broken up in the end zone by Eric Wright, number 21, intended for Brett Perriman.
That looked like the Eric Wright of the '84 season. A Pro Bowl cornerback who's had all kinds of physical problems ever since. But watch this coverage.
Snip it out if you want to teach how to go man-on-man coverage. Eric Wright, see how he plays the ball? How many times have we watched a game where a cornerback ends up playing only the receiver? Look at Eric Wright play the ball. He feels where his man is, but at the same time has the presence of mind to go back and play the ball.
Morton Anderson, a 39-yard attempt, and after he had slumped through the first 4 games this year, he has now hit 9 of his last 10. He's perfect from 39. The Saints come up with 3, 4:25 to go in the half, and the 49ers lead by 4 at Candlestick. Morton Anderson, as we said, he slumped in the second half of '88. And again, this year off to a slow start, but now there are the up-to-date rankings. Field goal percentage, the minimum 100 made. There he is leading Nick Lowry of Kansas City, Gary Anderson of Pittsburgh. It's as close as it can get. That's right up to the moment after his 39-yarder. His kickoff here fielded at the 7-yard line by Terrence Flagler. Out past the 20, and a good run back for Flagler as he gives the 49ers a first down at the 33-yard line.
One thing about Morton Anderson now taking the lead over Lowry and Anderson, I think Lowry and Anderson would be quick to point out that they'd like to kick in a dome half the time like Morton Anderson gets to do at the Superdome down in New Orleans. Kansas City, Pittsburgh, not exactly ideal conditions a lot of the year, kicking outdoors. I think they'd gladly trade places with this guy.
They might trade salaries with him, too. At the 33-yard line, 1st and 10. Jones, the tight end, in motion. Montana, who's 11 for 11, and this time incomplete. Unable to hold on is Brent Jones. So the record for most consecutive completions in the game, 20. Brent Anderson back in 1982.
Brent Jones showing that there's more than one way to lose a shoe. We saw Herschel Walker a couple weeks get stripped of his, and here Brent Jones diving for this Joe Montana pass, ends up sans shoe.
Excuse me. The good sans shoe.
Sans shoe.
A good look at Montana, who
Good way
actually
of cooking.
wanted to go to John Taylor on the other side. He was well covered, and he knew instantly when he was covered where he was going to go with the ball, even though it was incomplete. Turned and fired to Jones.
And you delivered that with deftness and aplomb.
Thank you.
2nd and 10. Over the middle, it's incomplete. So Montana, after hitting 11 straight, gets decked here.
Flag goes down.
Very late.
And it's against the 49ers, who have been near perfect on their 2 drives. Jim Tunney has been not a very busy man tonight. Very few flags in the game. And now they're discussing this with the Saints. Do they want the play or the penalty? Morris is pushing back.
61. 10 yards. Still 2nd down.
Well, it's a 10-yard penalty, so his choice there, do you want it to be 2nd and 20 or 3rd and 10?
Well, I think what Jim Mora wants is to take the 2nd and 20 and let his guys do a little pass rushing, something they've been doing very well lately.
It's an interesting option, though.
Joe Montana's been doing a lot of completing lately, too.
Yeah, gives Montana an extra pass. And he throws this one a little swing out to Rathman. And Rathman gets about half the distance needed for that first down as Vaughn Johnson bumps him out of bounds out near the 33-yard line. And they're about 10 yards shy of the first.
But on 2nd and 20, you get half of it back. Now you're looking at a 3rd and 10. And so you can go with something, again, with a little higher percentage of possibility of completion and less of the percentage for interception or the sack.
They're back to where they would have been anyway had they declined the penalty. 3rd and 10. 3:57 to play. First half, 14-10 San Francisco. Montana with time, throws, and it's almost picked off. And Wilson had to become a defensive back when Toy Cook stepped in front of him and nearly picked it off.
Big play by Wilson to save the interception. Montana just a little slow getting it out to Wilson, and Toy Cook had played it absolutely perfectly.
Wilson hangs on to the right arm of Cook, or he's gone. Watch Cook. He's actually got the ball, but look at Wilson hold on to that right arm. Cook is trying to gather it in with his left arm, but Mike Wilson hanging on to the right arm, pulling it down towards his waist, doesn't allow the interception. That would have been an easy touchdown.
Barry Hilton's first kick of the night. A low line drive fielded on the run at the 30-yard line by Rod Harris, and he gets spilled out at the 38-yard line by Bill Romanowski. New Orleans ball, 3:42 to go in the first half, and San Francisco ahead by 4. In terms of points overcome to win a game, it was the greatest comeback in NFL history. New Orleans led by 28 at halftime, but Lenville Elliott tied the game with this run in regulation. Ray Wersching won it with a field goal in overtime, and the Niners beat the Saints 38-35. As you look at that shot just to the left of that post on your screen, Jim Finks, the president, GM of the Saints, and of course a man who a lot of people thought would be the commissioner, is not, remains in his role at New Orleans with Paul Tagliabue, the new commissioner, and in fact Paul is here tonight watching this one. And it's a good one. Late in the first half, Craig Hayward is in the game for the first time. He stays in the block, and Hebert's throw out to the 45-yard line, and Dalton Hilliard makes the catch there for a gain of about 5. Now, at the half tonight, we will have for you, as usual, Monday Night Football greatest moments, and Don Majkowski, the Green Bay quarterback who led the Packers to that thrilling victory over Chicago yesterday, and of course the replay controversy. And Lynn Swann will be talking to the Packer QB at halftime. 2nd and long 5. Hayward is in the slot to the left, and Dalton Hilliard has the football. And he's wrapped up by Michael Walter after a gain of a couple. And upcoming will be a 3rd and about 3 from the 47-yard line.
This game is just flying by. 2:45 on the clock and ticking away here at the end of the first half. And this game just a little over an hour old. A very well-played game. The execution by both offenses. There's Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints. And both offensive teams tonight have been clicking.
3rd and a short 3 from the 48-yard line. Hebert, pump fake, then he throws, and it's underneath, and not enough, I don't think, for the first down. Hayward stretching and reaching, and maybe with that second effort, but we'll see. Michael Walter wraps him up. Nope, they're not going to mark it even close.
There's the old pump fake in reverse. Normally, the pump fake is to set up a long throw down the sidelines. I've never seen the pump fake used to set up a 1-yard bomb before.
He was down. You'll watch. He's down, and then he tries to reach, and there he is. And they spot it on the Saints side of the 50-yard line. You'll see the chain will extend past the 50 and into 49er territory. So they are that much short of the first down. 4th and inches.
Oh, a tough call for Jim Mora. Boy, this is one you really mull around for a while. Can you afford to turn it over to the 49ers at midfield? No, I don't think so. When you've got a defense playing like yours, you've got to play the percentages and punt it away.
Meanwhile, they're going to try to get the kick away in a hurry before the 49ers can set up. The 49ers had to wait. The punt unit getting in as the kick is lofted and is fair caught at the 15-yard line by Taylor. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. It comes with exactly 1:59 to play in the half. And Montana and the 49ers with all of their timeouts left. Boy, it seems like a long time ago, but it was only, what, 9 nights ago. That logo remains, and that's where the home plate area is at Candlestick Park. You can see the infield has been filled in with sod.
You've taken up residency again here, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Candlestick and the Cliffs, I tell you, it's been a home away from home. At the 15-yard line, the 49ers take over.
You're totally shameless, Alan. I just think
Say what?
You're just shameless.
One thing we know, we can't go to Louisville again.
At the 15-yard line, 1st and 10 for San Francisco. All of their timeouts remaining. Roger Craig cuts it back and takes it out to the 21-yard line, and he is stopped there by Frank Warren. And of course, this is a situation that Montana has been in so many times in his career, and with such success in his career. And when it comes to using the clock, has there ever been anybody better? 2nd and 4 from the 21. Over the middle. Pass is made by Craig out to the 30-yard line. And a 1st down.
You'll also be very cautious, too, with the 4-point lead.
Johnny Unitas wasn't too bad at using the clock, was he?
Little throw out to Craig. And Toy Cook makes the tackle. Well, in terms of contemporary quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, the ones with plastic helmets, you mean, as opposed to leather.
Yep.
And Johnny can get it done.
Yep. And so can Joe, who'll go over to talk to Seifert. And Mike Holmgren as well. Timeout, San Francisco.
Earthquake. And tonight, the National Football League owners, through NFL Charities, made the largest single grant in the history of their charitable organization. And NFL Charities checked for $1 million to the United Way of America to specifically assist victims of the earthquake that struck northern and central California. In addition, San Francisco 49er owner Eddie DiBartolo Jr. made another $250,000 donation on behalf of his family and the 49ers. Making these contributions to United Way, President William Aramani, our newly elected NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue, and 49ers owner Edward J. DiBartolo Jr. The NFL owners now have made contributions totaling nearly $11 million through NFL Charities. And what I've noticed here, Al, and of course you know this area so much better, is the courage and the way these people have come together. This is city once again, and there's casual talk about it, but that disaster that took place here on the 17th, I mean, it's almost forgotten here.
Well, it's terrible, and the after effects are going to be felt for a while. There's no question about that. But, I mean, the city is standing in all of its regal splendor. You guys have been downtown the past couple of days. There's a traffic problem. There's no question about that. The Bay Bridge is still down and will be until the end of November. They'll get that back in working order, and then things will start to really get back to normal. But the folks in San Francisco are saying, hey, look, we're resilient. We're coming back, and come and visit us is what they're really saying.
I think the key to all this, though, is quite simple. There's still a great deal of work to be done, and there's still lots of ways to help.
Flag is down on 2nd and 4, and Montana just throws it away, and there isn't a red shirt within 15 yards. And there was a penalty marker at the inception of the play.
Just want to finish that up by saying that, how much work is still left to be done here in the Bay Area, and there's still ways to help. You can still make a donation to organizations like the United Way and designate that you wanted to go to Northern California to assist in the rebuilding process, and it will be going on here for a long time.
Defense. Still 2nd down.
I think you're right, Dan. There's a tendency as time goes on to forget about it, and this one should not be forgotten. The resiliency, however, these people in this area, absolutely amazing to me.
And the 49ers very much helping to brighten the days as they have of the populace throughout this decade, leading here by 4, and the pass is broken up, intended for Taylor. John Taylor sprinting down the sidelines, and it was Milton Mack who was back there with him. He plays in the nickel and dime packages.
And as good as the offenses have been playing so far, we've also seen some outstanding examples of coverage in the secondary. And this is going to be one of them by Milton Mack. See, look at that left arm, how he digs it in there. That's the kind of contact that you can still get away with as long as it's not blatant. And that's good defense, Frank.
I'll tell you, it's also it's a strange defense to have one man on a dangerous receiver like John Taylor, which obviously tells you whether
concentrating, and that's against Jerry Rice on the opposite side of the field. I think you can assume there were 2 on Rice.
2nd and 10. And the pass is caught by Rice. Rice sprints into Saint territory. Has a first down at the 45-yard line. Clock ticking down to 50 seconds now. 49ers have a pair of timeouts remaining. And they won't use one here as Montana leads them up to the line at the 45. 1st and 10. Taylor on a slant in. Breaks 2 tackles inside the 20. Inside the 10. Taylor in for the touchdown.
The throw was good, but what John Taylor did with it after catching the Montana pass was brilliant.
I said earlier, I don't think there's anyone in the league right now capable of turning a little one into a big one like John Taylor. Great return man. Jerry Rice shaken up on that play, being assisted off the field, but John Taylor took the little simple down and in and just turned it into a thing of beauty.
Well, he broke a couple of tackles, and then he dragged Dave Waymer for about 3 or 4 yards, and then as he's going down, leans out with his right arm and just lays the football right across the goal line. That's a big-time play by John Taylor.
He had 2 4 weeks ago in a 24-20 win over the Saints, and a year ago he had another one against the Saints, so he has been quite a force.
John Taylor out of Delaware State. I wouldn't say their program was in disarray when he went to school there, but about 2 years prior to his going to Delaware State, they'd lost a football game 105-0. So he really came out of nowhere.
And it wasn't against the University of Houston.
No.
He was looking for a place where he could play, I guess. Take a look at it again. Again, he ties up with Milton Mack. And Montana, just simple little completion over the middle of it. He does all the rest.
Watch how he drags Waymer, though, into the end zone. But watch how he lays out with the ball. Boy, we were blocked. Oh, just at the last minute.
But he protected it, too, to make sure it wouldn't be stripped, knowing that Waymer would try to strip the ball. Here he is again with that great broken field runner. Of course, an excellent punt return man. Now watch him cover the football right here. He knows Waymer's going to try to strip it and just reaches out and gets the 6.
Lays it right out across the goal line. Oh, nice. Very nice. Good look at it, guys. John Taylor came upon the scene last year with his reception in the Super Bowl. Won the game for the 49ers, and that was much the same reaction by Joe Montana back in January.
I think if you're going to be a wide receiver on a team that likes to throw the ball like the 49ers, well, you may as well be a wide receiver on a team that has a Jerry Rice on the other side. Because twice now, rather than going to Rice, who was drawing the double coverage, Montana twice went to Taylor, just missed him off his fingertips on a play just before, and this time he hits him and Taylor does the rest of it.
Meanwhile, as it turned out, it didn't even matter what New Orleans did on 4th and inches. They punted, and they still watched the 49ers march it down 85 yards instead of 50.
Those are awesome numbers, aren't they?
Guess they should have gone for it.
Yeah. Saints have allowed only 5 touchdown passes of 20-plus yards this season, and that man right there has thrown that entire handful. Koper's kick. Ground ball taken at the 6-yard line. And this is the rookie Frazier. Paul Frazier out of northwestern Louisiana. Out to the 29. They're going to give Rice some early treatment, but Jerry looks like he'll be able to return in the second half as the clock ticks down. Right now it's stopped with exactly 21 seconds to play in the half.
Jerry walking in with Lindsey McClain, the 49ers trainer.
We congratulate all our United States Marines around the world. And we get so many letters from the servicemen from around the world, but it is the Marine Corps' 214th birthday. Congratulations, all you Leathernecks.
And I'm not sure they can stop Jerry Rice.
At the 29-yard line. Hebert and the Saints, they have all of their timeouts left. Not that it matters with 21 seconds. But Bobby is going to throw over the middle, and the catch is made by Hilliard, and the Saints will take a timeout. The thing is, with Morton Anderson as your field goal kicker, you got a decent shot if you can get it to within 55.
Well, when you look at where the Saints are, I mean, a loss tonight, they drop below 500. I mean, I don't see where they're in a position to squander any opportunity to try to put some points on the board.
But Al's got a point. Anderson has kicked one from 55 yards out, and he did that off a natural surface. Did that out in Denver a few years ago. So he's certainly capable of reaching it, and they don't have to advance it too far to give Anderson a shot at it.
Well, what you'd have to do is you'd have to get it, let's see, 12, 22, about another 20. If you can pick up 25 yards on this play to go out of bounds, take a timeout, then you got a shot.
Or else you could try it from right here.
Yeah, right.
In which case you'd have an 80-yarder.
No, that's when you call for Tom Dempsey, right?
Well, somebody's going to kick an 80-yarder sooner or later.
Well, we could make our 900 number. Certainly one of our highlights.
That's true.
By the way, we're going to take a look and give you a chance to vote on the top performance, individual performance in the 70s. Boy, that was tough to thin that one down. There were some great ones. That's at halftime.
I guess I didn't make that one either.
You don't know, though. Second down and 2 from the 36-yard line. Niners nearly jump a 3-man rush. Hebert fires and fires behind the intended receiver, Eric Martin. 10 seconds now left, third down. Jim Mora came out of the USFL. Carl Smith, the offensive coordinator.
Out of Bakersfield College in San Jose.
At Wasco?
Wasco. He was born in Wasco, just a little north of Bakersfield. How come you know so much about Bakersfield? Well, I've eaten a lot of Kern County long whites. Great potato growing. Oh, of course, I went to the same junior college as Carl. The high school team is undefeated, or they were up until this past weekend.
Third and 2. Hebert throws. Hilliard makes the catch to the 49-yard line, and they will take a timeout with 4 seconds. So they're not within field goal range, but they can get off a Hail Mary or whatever they want to do on this play. Maybe set up a screen and try to break it. One play left in all probability. And we can tell you that we have coming your way from
Michigan's program has been there on top for a long time, but really a lot of credit goes to John Makovic and what he's done with the Fighting Illini. They are one strong program, and with Jeff George at quarterback, more than capable of beating my alma mater. And in Champaign, and I'm sweating this one out.
So why'd you tell us in the car Michigan's going to win by 21?
You have mixed emotions, don't you?
No, I've got to go with the maize and blue on it.
Final play of the half if we don't have a penalty, and it ends with Hebert being slung down at the 49-yard line by Bill Romanowski. And so the 49ers, in only their second game at Candlestick Park this season and third home game overall, leave the field at the half, leading New Orleans by a score of 21-10. And ABC's Monday Night Football returns after a commercial, a message from the National Football League, and a word from our ABC station. And we're back at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Bubba Paris.
Looming large on our screen. Asked Bubba what he weighed yesterday, and he wouldn't tell me. I said, Bubba, it's a great chance to lie. I'll say whatever it is. He said, how about 270? I said, you stretched it too far.
49ers receive the second half kickoff, which is run back out to the 15-yard line. The return by Spencer Tillman, and San Francisco with an 11-point lead, and Joe Montana at the helm, taking over at that spot. Joe in the first half, 16 out of 19 for 223 yards, 3 touchdowns, and there it is for the season now. His completion percentage is an incredible 70.1%, and we say incredible because if he were to finish over 70%, he would be one of only 3 quarterbacks in the history of the league to do that. From the 15-yard line, Rathman goes in motion. Craig takes the toss. Can't turn the corner, and he gets buried back of the line of scrimmage. Robert Massey, rookie out of North Carolina Central, comes up to do it. The 2 quarterbacks over 70%, Kenny Anderson in 1982, a strike season, and Sammy Baugh in 1945. And there it is graphically for you.
I think the other thing you have to take into consideration when you look at the first half of the year that Joe Montana has had is the fact that he's only thrown 3 interceptions. I mean, not only is he completing a lot of his passes, over 70%, but it's the fact that his decision-making is so good. Only 3 interceptions is excellent.
2nd and 12, and Montana is able to cover it himself back at the 12-yard line.
Well, the architecture of the offense leans towards the high percentage. Joe Montana's career is over 63%. And nothing has changed. Bill Walsh is gone, but the offense is so very similar. High percentage stuff all the way. And Joe Montana perhaps reads the defense as well as anyone. He reads it so quickly and takes that 1, 2, 3. Primary receiver is not there. He knows where the other one is. And then he knows where a third one is.
3rd and 13, and by the way, when the half ended, you saw Jerry Rice going back to the locker room, but he's all right. Back in the lineup right now on 3rd and 13. Montana, flag is thrown. Pass is high and is dropped at the 26 by Brent Jones, and we'll see about the flag. Brett Maxey covering. Ball is against San Francisco, so it's a sputtering start for the 49ers here in the 3rd period.
Holding 62 is declined. 4th down.
Guy McIntyre, the man. Just another piece of business. Brad Edelman, the Saints guard who was hurt early in the game, sprained knee, and the report on him will not return.
Saints should get good field position out of this. And even though they're down 21-10, this is a desperate team into tonight. They lose this one tonight, and they fall 3 games off the pace.
Barry Helton standing in his end zone. Rod Harris, the rookie. This is a short, wobbly kick, fielded by Harris at the 45-yard line. Harris gets inside the 40, cuts back to the outside and takes it to the 30, and indeed they have good field position. Stopped by Brent Jones after a 33-yard punt and a 15-yard run back.
This is the kind of field position that a team just can't afford to squander. When you're trailing by 11 points and you get a chance to open up shop with your first possession in the second half at the 30-yard line, you just have to come away with points, preferably a touchdown. And right now, it's a lot of pressure being put on the shoulders of San Francisco and their defensive team. Tough to start at the 30.
Again, with Edelman out, Dombrowski has moved to left guard. Haverdink, the rookie from Western Michigan, at left tackle. 1st and 10, New Orleans from the 30-yard line. Hebert fires it out to Hilliard, and Dalton has it down to the 25-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Chet Brooks, second-year man out of Texas A&M in that revamped secondary, makes the tackle.
And again, as we talk about Montana and what a season he's having, we'll go back to what we said earlier about Hebert, and if Montana wasn't having that season, you'd be looking at the leading passer in the NFL. He came into tonight just under 67% completion. Having a big year, Bobby Hebert.
2nd and 4 from just inside the 25. Hilliard, and he is pushed back after a minimal gain by Pierce Holt. And so it'll be 3rd down. Pierce Holt, a fellow who didn't go to college until he was 22 years old, and he is shaken up on the play. Went to Angelo State. There he is. He's 27, even though he's in only his 2nd season in the league. Again, he went to work at a number of jobs, went to school late bloomer. And now he comes, and Larry Roberts replaces him. Third and a short 4. Martin in motion. Hebert pump fakes toward Martin, then throws, and inside the 10-yard line, Hobie Brenner reaches for it and makes the play inside of Matt Millen.
And another great pass, great touch by Bobby Hebert. He didn't want to go there. He was looking deep, looking for Eric Martin. He was not open. He finds Hobie Brenner just as he was about to run out of real estate and run out of bounds, and gets the first down with a beautiful touch as Hobie Brenner uncovers. Romanowski is right there with Hobie Brenner. I mean, again, his coverage on the short side of it was pretty good. Matt Millen was coming in from behind. And there's an example of the rollout that Hebert used. He bought a lot of extra time, strung it out all the way to the sideline to get the opportunity, allow his man to get open.
First and goal inside the 8. This is Hilliard. And Hilliard takes it down to the 5-yard line. And we talked about the Saints before, how proficient they are on first and goal. The last 15 times they've had a first and goal, they have scored touchdowns on 14 occasions.
Of course, this is a little stiffer test of that first and goal. The numbers that they have put up, having to start all the way out, this time out by the 8.5, 9-yard line. So first and aways on first and goal.
At the 6 on second and goal. Martin to the left, Hill to the right. Jordan in motion. And Hebert throws it out of the end zone. Nobody was open. Eric Martin was cutting across the back of the end zone, but the pass not even close. Third and goal.
Good coverage by the 49ers. He wanted Buford Jordan in the flat. Jordan wasn't there. Looked in the end zone. Everyone locked up. And very wisely throws it out of the end zone.
Third down goal at the 6. 10:18 to go. Third quarter. San Francisco on top by 11. 4 receivers in this set. Jordan stays in the block. Hebert under pressure. And that one's not even close. Intended for the rookie Floyd Turner.
Well, credit that one to the pass rush. A line stunt up front by the 49ers is what caused Bobby Hebert to have to throw that thing from back on his heels and on his way down. Watch the right side of your screen. There comes Charles Haley all the way down to the inside, and then it's the loop to the outside by Pierce Holt, who's back into the game, and Bobby Hebert, no chance to set up and step into his throw. A doomed play from the beginning if you can't block the defensive line.
John Forcade hold for Morton Anderson, a 24-yard attempt. He's already made one from 39. And this one is perfect. And that draws New Orleans to within 8. So it's 10:10 to go in the third quarter at Candlestick Park. It's 21-13, 49ers.
And I think starting with at the 30, they wanted more than a field goal.
10:10 to go in the third period as the Saints with Morton Anderson get set to kick off, trailing by 8.
The Travelers man of the year for the New Orleans Saints. Not only a great kicker, we showed you his numbers earlier, back in the lead percentage-wise in the NFL, but also does a lot of good things around the community of New Orleans. He's the Travelers man of the year for New Orleans, and of course the Travelers man of the year in the NFL will be announced at the Super Bowl. Go get it, Morton.
Super Bowl in New Orleans this year as Anderson puts it in the air, and it's a good, deep, very deep kick.
I guess.
Yep, and there's your touchback, folks. Spencer Tillman. So the 49ers, who stumble on their first possession of the second half, take over here. George Seifert, 49-year-old head coach of the 49ers. Funny thing about Seifert, you know, he was considered for the Cleveland job. That was open when Marty Schottenheimer left to go to Kansas City. They were interviewing several candidates. In fact, Seifert was on his way to Cleveland. He called his wife from the airphone in the airplane. He said, "You better come home. I think you're the 49ers' new head man." And back he came. That was 3 or 4 days after the Super Bowl when Bill Walsh decided that was the end.
Good thing she was home.
Yeah.
Like Harris Barton got a bit of a quick start. Right tackle.
Well start, number 79. Still first down.
First and 15. The other thing about Seifert, you talk about a guy living out a dream. Here's a fellow who goes to high school in San Francisco, to Poly High, and when he was going to school there as a student, he used to usher at Kezar Stadium for the 49er games.
Where is Poly High from where we are now, Al?
No, I'd say it's about 5.3 miles north by northwest. I do helicopter reports in my next life. First and 15 from the 15-yard line.
Sooner than you think.
Oh, yeah, you're coming with me as the navigator. Jerry Rice, the intended receiver. Second down and 15.
And again, we have to reiterate how slowly the 49ers are starting out the second half offensively. I mean, this is a situation where to go 3 and out and have to punt the ball away will set up New Orleans in good field position. Right now, the most important thing for the 49ers, not necessarily points, but at least a couple of first downs.
I get the feeling they should go back to that playbook, the first page that they opened this game with. Go back to those first 15 plays once again. They totally dominated in the early going.
Second and 15. Montana, who is 0 for 2 in this half, has to escape some pressure from Mills and then throws, and the catch is made at the 33, but dropped and fumbled out of bounds at the 39-yard line by Taylor.
Oh, and now they're ruling incomplete,
saying he didn't have control of it.
John Taylor takes a couple of steps while the football is up against his body, but he must have possession. He's got to put the ball away. He cannot be juggling the ball. Let's take a look at it. He's going to have to reach a little high to get it. There he goes, and he brings the ball down. Ooh, that is very, very close. That is very close, and I think they're going to take a look at this. If he gets both feet down, he has to get the left foot and the right foot down with possession.
Bill Fetty is the replay official.
Maybe we can see it again. Maybe we can just speed it up to regular speed, and you can see how it would be very difficult to make that call on the field. But again, does he have possession? Gets hit there by Waymer.
There's the right. Now again, we're going to have to see something that is so conclusive that they can overturn. All right, let's look. There's the left. There's the right, and he still has the ball.
Yeah.
By a fraction of a second, when the right foot hit the ground, which was his second foot, it appeared that he still had the ball under control. All right, here's super slow motion. Let's look at it. There's the left. All right, let's see, where is the ball when the right touches?
He's got it.
He appears to have control of it and then loses it.
Oh, that's so close.
That is close. There's no argument that we're dealing in absolutely 100ths of seconds. And then again, a reminder that it has to be so conclusive to overturn the officials.
The play stands. Third down.
And I think that's the ruling from the replay booth, is that we just didn't see enough that we could flat out say that's what it was to overturn the officials on the field.
And that makes it third down and 15 from the 15-yard line. And Montana fires, and it is incomplete out at the 30-yard line. Gene Atkins busting the play up. There's a flag down.
Well, Gene Atkins almost comes up with an interception. You see the hold against the 49ers, and they're going to have to kick the ball away. But Atkins almost comes up with an interception.
Intended for Terry Greer. First time they've gone his way tonight.
Look at Gene come in there. And again, it was a good effort that time by Terry Greer, fighting for the ball as well, or else Atkins would have had that interception.
And again, New Orleans going to get good field position once again, but they've got to get that ball into the end zone.
You sense a little uneasiness with the crowd here at Candlestick.
Helton's kick is a line drive, end over ender, fielded at the 40-yard line by Harris. And again, a good run back, putting the ball into 49 territory to the 41-yard line. What a difference a half makes. Montana started the first half 11 for 11, starts the second half 0 for 4, and the Saints in pretty good shape right now.
That's a surprising vote. I said we all had our picks. My pick had been Joe Washington all along. A great performance, over 270 yards of offense that night. Dick Anderson, a very sophisticated audience, appreciating the great defensive play of the All-Pro Dolphin, and Earl Campbell on that big night against Miami with 199 yards rushing.
It's neck and neck, and either man could go all the way when the balloting is over.
What a football player.
Yep. Meanwhile, the Saints at the 42-yard line, 1st and 10, trail by 8, 9:26 to go, third quarter at Candlestick Park. And Hebert starts by giving it to Hilliard. Pick up a 2. Speaking of voting, Election Day is tomorrow, and there's a Proposition P on the ballot here in San Francisco. The 49ers are set. They like playing in Candlestick Park. It's been a good facility for them, but Bob Lurie has already stated that his Giants will not renew their lease after 1994 here, and the voters of San Francisco will determine tomorrow whether or not they will build a baseball stadium at China Basin or not.
It's just here in the city of San Francisco.
That's correct.
Voting, correct?
That's correct. 2nd down and 8. That's one of the big local stories on the eve of the election. The catch is made after Hebert spins around. He hits Martin, but next to no gain at the 40-yard line. It will be 3rd down and 9.
And the 49er defense, we talked about it earlier, maybe overshadowed over the years by their more celebrated offensive teammates, rising to the occasion here in the second half. But our defense that came into tonight ranked 3rd in the league. That's how they finished last year, and they won the Super Bowl with it. And the year before, they were number 1. So they've been up there for a long time, and they're doing the job tonight.
3rd and 8. From the 40. '49ers rush 4. Hebert throws into traffic, batted and incomplete. Intended for Martin and batted away by Tim McKyer. And what a roller coaster year he has had. Held out, signed late, was hurt, chastised by the coaches, said he was going to wait until he was 100% healthy, and then suspended for 3 weeks.
And he just made a super play. He knew where the sticks were. He knew where the receiver had to go, Eric Martin, to get the first down. He knew how to play it, and the timing was absolutely perfect to avoid the pass interference.
Yeah, if you slow this down, I mean, to the point where you want to split seconds, maybe there's a fraction's worth of contact, you know, before the ball gets there. But in reality, when the official looks at it, it's just beautiful coverage, and the timing was perfect.
Tommy Barnhart, a floater that is caught at the 16-yard line, fair caught by John Taylor, only a 24-yard effort. 7:42 to go in the 3rd. San Francisco up by 8. With a victory tonight, by the way, they would clinch team of the 80s, the best regular season record for the decade. They're 1 win away from accomplishing that. And of course, they won 3 Super Bowls during the decade. And here is Roger Craig out past the 20, the 25, and a first down as Roger Craig takes it to the 29-yard line.
I think the 3 rings might have more importance attached to them than that 1 lost record of the entire decade. I'd take the hardware.
And I think the man you just saw is responsible for so much of it over the past 4 or 5 years, Roger Craig. What a versatility he can offer the offense. Coming out of that backfield as a receiver, rushing the football, he can do it all.
He's done it, and of course, people like Montana and Rice and the drafting they've done and the coaching and all of that, and those 3 Super Bowl rings. And it's also a team that has not missed the playoffs since the strike year of 1982. From the 29-yard line, it's Craig out to the 34. Vaughn Johnson, number 53, in on the tackle. 6:45 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Then a little chat on the sidelines. Dan, you know how it takes place every now and then when things kind of bog down for a while. The guys get together, and the offensive coach comes over, and the line coach comes over, and let's go back to basics, guys. Let's go back to what we came in here to play this team with.
Well, they're lucky that they got away with 2 really poor possessions to open up the second half. I mean, the 49er defense, the Saints having down started at the 30 and 41, only gave up 3 points.
2nd and 5, a swing out to Rathman, and Rathman is dragged down at the 34-yard line by Pat Swilling, who has been relatively quiet tonight. They've done a good job on him.
Boy, what an athlete he is, however. Dan is right. There are a lot of 56s floating around the NFL this year, but Swilling, 6'3", 242, 7 sacks in the last couple of ball games. 8 of them, over 4. No way you're going to get away from Swilling. He probably is a lot faster in the straight-out 40 than Rathman is.
The guy we haven't heard a lot from tonight is Ricky Jackson, his counterpart on the other side.
Don't think I've called his name once. 3rd and 5 from the 34-yard line. Montana to Rathman, wide open over the middle and out to the 49-yard line, and a first down. Stopped by Troy Cook and Brett Maxey.
Crossing pattern underneath again. Rathman behind the wide flanker on the right side. Hard to keep track of all those people, particularly when you put City into his own defense. And Rathman coming under 2 of his 49er teammates on the opposite side of the field, wide open. Now watch, he covers up the football.
Oh, Woody Hayes would be so happy. You don't see that a lot anymore. The fullback covering up with both hands. Fundamentally sound.
What a game his college had this past Saturday.
Through the middle goes Craig, and he's pushed back. Vaughn Johnson meets him head-on at the New Orleans 49-yard line. Roger Craig, not a stellar season for him to this point. Man who's, when he's averaging under 4 yards a carry, that is definitely subpar.
Nobody's still on a pace to go over 1,000 yards for the season, even not being pleased with what he's done to this point. 523 yards coming into tonight. So, I mean, a subpar year for Roger Craig is brilliant for a lot of people.
Frank Warren may have slightly jumped offside.
73, 5 yards,
For the capital E.
Jim Tunney, the referee, from the same alma mater as Jim Mora, the coach of the Saints, Occidental.
Oh, come on. How can they call that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Let them play.
Are they going to take a look at that?
Frank Warren behind the quarterback at the snap of the ball. Maybe if he would keep going to where he was totally out of the picture, he would have gotten away with it.
Craig in motion, 2nd down and 3, and Tom Rathman fights his way to the 41-yard line. There's a marker down. He is stopped by Sam Mills.
That's an umpire marker. That normally means holding of some type.
Holding of some type is the call.
If you follow the team in the red shirt, it's holding of the wrong type. This goes against the 49ers, and the best play by the Saints defensively yet.
Still 2nd down.
Well, I heard a 9 at the end of that. I assume it's Harris Barton. Well, Bruce Colley, the right guard, is 69. Hate to libel a guy here if we're not quite sure who it is. Took off.
30 seconds.
Resetting the play clock. Game clock showing 3:43 to play, 3rd quarter. Ball at the 46-yard line. It's 2nd down and 13 after the penalty. Rice comes in motion. Montana freezing the defense with the fake, then throwing for Rice. The catch is made at the 33-yard line and a first down.
It's just supposed to be more difficult than that.
That's one of the problems, Dan. He makes it look so easy. You sit up here and you don't want to speak in nothing but superlatives about this man who rolls to the right, and a lot of quarterbacks could do this, but a lot of them would throw it too hard. But here is Rice making his move against Robert Massey, the rookie. Makes it look upfield, then quick planting of the left foot and just left Massey spinning.
Oh, and look at him drag the right foot. That might have been the prettiest part of all. Watching Jerry Rice, he has to throw his left way out in front, but look at him drag that right to get it down. Oh, that was nice from start to finish.
Craig spinning, breaking some tackles, and then finally dragged down after a tough 2-yard pickup by Gene Atkins. Well, you go back to, that when they drafted Rice, you take a look at that first round in 1985. Al Toon, picked by the Jets, the number 10 man selected overall. Eddie Brown, 13th player selected by Cincinnati, and then Rice 16. It's a pretty good threesome.
Of course, the 16th position was not the one owned by the 49ers in what was probably the trade of the decade. Bill Walsh trades down to get Jerry Rice. He had an idea of what kind of talent he was. Mississippi Valley State.
Archie Cooley,
The gunslinger and the whole crowd.
here's Rathman making the catch, and Rathman stretching out and taking it to the 24-yard line, and that stretch pulls them to within a yard of a first down as Sam Mills makes the tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
This is almost like the cylinder of a gun rotating around. I mean, they come at you with Rice. Then they come at you with Craig. Then it's Rathman. Next it'll probably be John Taylor.
Meanwhile, this is amazing. The Saints have held their opponents without a first down on the last 11 3rd and 1 plays. Without going into a long dissertation, our man Steve Hurts figured out the odds of this happening, 500,000 to 1, to do it 11 times in a row. 3rd and 1. Craig to the outside, and they've done it 12 times in a row. Toy Cook. I mean, think about it. 3rd and 1.
Steve's computer is having a meltdown now.
Yeah, right.
If 11 out of 11 was 500,000 to 1, what is 12 out of 12, Steve?
If Rathman doesn't overrun that block, that's 6 points.
There it is. In the National Football League, teams make 3rd and 1 70% of the time. There it is, the theoretical odds. 537,626 to 1.
Yeah, but that's old news. We've got to redo that now.
Meanwhile, here's a 44-yard field goal attempt by Kofer, and the kick is good. Good by plenty.
A solid drive by the 49ers. After flopping around on the first 2 possessions of half number 2, they come out with a real solid drive that ends up with 3 points.
1:11 to go in the 3rd, and the Niners are back up on top by 11. On your right is R.C. Owen, alley-oop, and on the left, Candy Maldonado of the San Francisco Giants. Maybe trying to take a page out of Bo Jackson's book.
You know, we saw the other end of the alley-oop pass. Wyatt Tittle in New York just this past week. Came in for our big 20th anniversary luncheon. But they put on a lot of thrills here in the old Kezar Stadium for the 49ers. You could just throw that ball in the corner of the end zone. Wyatt did. And RC with great jumping talent would go up, and they called it the alley-oop.
R.C. Owen.
You in the sandbox then, Dan.
Y.A. Tittle. J.D. Roberts.
What year were we talking about with the alley-oop? What, early 60s? Late 50s? Actually, the 50s.
Yeah, late 50s.
Wyatt went on to the Giants in the 60s.
Kofer to kick off. And at the 6-yard line, this is Bobby Morse. And Morse runs it back out to the 31-yard line. And let me see. I've just been handed this note that coming up Wednesday night on ABC, the laps begin with at the 31-yard line. The Saints down by 11. Start this drive with Hebert retreating under heavy pressure and thrown down back at the 19-yard line by Pierce Holt.
Now, I think you can see the look on Bobby Hebert's face as he beseeches the guys up front. You've got to give me more of an opportunity than that. And it's probably the part of Hebert's game that he doesn't do the best at, and that's scrambling. But this is a chance where almost any quarterback is doomed. I mean, you just don't even have a chance. By the time you're there, they're already on top of you. You make a move to get out, and you're down.
2nd down and 21 from the 20-yard line. A screen for Hilliard. And Dalton is taken down at the 23-yard line, and it's Pollard who slowed him.
The screen, an obvious attempt to take advantage of the 49ers pass rush. They dealt once again over on the left side of the 49ers. Charles Haley, you saw him right in the face of Bobby Hebert as he was able to get the screen off. But Charles Haley, he is the pass rushing specialist for the 49ers with over 7 sacks. And they work very well in concert over in the left side, Holt and Haley.
That's the end of the third quarter. 24-13 San Francisco. Back we come after this from our ABC station.
Ask her anything next time.
We start the fourth quarter in San Francisco. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Dan Dierdorf with the 49ers on top 24-13. And New Orleans has the ball at its own 22-yard line, 3rd down and 19. Hebert sending 4 receivers wide. Bobby out of the shotgun. Has to get it to the 41 for a first down. Throws it underneath. The catch is made by Jordan. And then he is tackled out at the 39-yard line. And he is short of the first down. So they pick up 17, but not enough, and they have to kick.
When you think back to the first 2 possessions of the second half for New Orleans, they had the ball at the 30 and netted nothing but a field goal, and then they got it again at the 41 of San Francisco and came out with nothing. So now they're looking at having to cover a whole lot more territory to get points, and you can kind of sense that after the 49er defense stiffened, the whole team has turned up the intensity level a couple of notches.
Tommy Barnhart to punt. John Taylor is back to receive. Short kick. Taylor at the 30-yard line. Flag is down, and Taylor goes out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
We've got one of the officials that bites the dust.
It's the line judge, and it's Bama Glass. It feels like he's in Alabama right now.
Bama bounced up. You could read his lips. I'm all right. I'm not quite sure where I am, but I'm all right. Taylor looking to get behind some sort of a picket line, and there is the collision. When you don't have your shoulder pads and your helmet on, you're really exposed out there.
Malibu Kelly Hayes, who should know,
Number 30
says that Glass is a former University of Colorado player. He must felt like he was back on the active list.
Wire.
San Francisco with the ball at the 25-yard line. Saw our R.C. Owens before we started talking about that alphabet backfield. Y.A. Tittle, R.C. Owens, C.R. Roberts, and J.D. Smith. Or the others? Back in the late 50s and early 60s. Joe Montana on a roll from the 25-yard line. And it's incomplete, intended for the tight end Wesley Walls, number 89. 2nd down. Wesley Walls, the rookie out of Mississippi.
Saints, if they lose tonight, keep in mind they'll fall 3 games back. The Rams 5-4. If the 49ers go on to win, we'll be 2 games back. Jim Mora, the head coach, who gave the Saints their first winning season in their history of the franchise, dating back to '67. In 1987 with the 12-4 record, he's turned it around down there.
2nd and 10. Montana will keep it and stretches out for a first down to the 39-yard line. He's stopped by Frank Warren.
And listen to the crowd. You think they don't appreciate the effort? Guy doesn't play last week because of a bum knee, and here in the fourth quarter of this ball game, with a comfortable 11-point lead, still takes off with a football and runs for a first down. Remember, there was even talk. I mean, there was serious talk here. Bill Walsh, I guess, started a lot of it. Steve Young, Joe Montana, which one of these 2 guys was going to start, was going to play, and boy, Joe Montana has risen way above that. There's no question who's the main man here in San Francisco now.
From the 39-yard line, Craig You know, it seems like almost ancient history now. You go back to 1986, and Montana had the back surgery following that game in Tampa when he threw against the grain, and it looked like not only was his season over, it appeared his career was over. And then the next thing you know, he was back in action before that season was done.
There's been so many times that people have written him off one way or the other, and he has always rebounded. Back to a lot of what we said earlier, he makes everything look so absolutely effortless. But I think you only have to put everything in perspective, the numbers, what he's accomplished, to realize this is one of the great quarterbacks of all time.
Craig on 2nd and 6.
You know, back to Montana again. We're visiting with Jim Burt yesterday, the nose tackle of the New York Giants for so many years, that now has been signed by the 49ers, and I thought, there's Jim Burt on the sidelines wearing his customary 64. I thought Montana's career was over when Jim Burt levels him in that playoff game at the Meadowlands. Joe Montana leaves the stadium in an ambulance, goes to the hospital, and here we are, teammates. And you know, the 49ers are excited to have Jim Burt. Look at the energy he brings to this football team. Even though he's not in the game, he's going to play a lot for the Niners this year. But Montana recovered from that shot. That was a tremendous throw.
3rd down and 4. Pressure's on. Throw is made to Rice. And Jerry, per usual, picks up the 1st down, taking it to the Saints 45-yard line where Robert Massey makes the tackle. Speaking of Burt's hit, into the archives we go.
Well, you know, you ask and you receive around here. Kenny Wolf, Craig Janoff, they go to the archives.
Right.
And who would want to take this?
Went right to the card.
There is Burt. 49-3 victory on the part of the Giants. I talked to Jim Burt last night. He said, well, I still bleed blue. Said, I'm a Giant. Say hello to all the guys. Well, Tim. And we're going to be here, what, in 3 weeks? The Giants will come in, and Jim Burt will be in this uniform instead of that familiar blue of the Giants.
3 weeks from tonight, on Monday night, the Giants and the 49ers. Craig picks up 2, takes it to the 43. San Francisco using some of the clock here. 10.5 minutes to play. And the 49ers on top by E11.
Craig coming up, well, what is it? He came into tonight about 32 passes short of becoming the all-time leading receiver for running backs. I think there's only a couple ahead of him. Walter Payton, of course, holds the record with 492 receptions. Tony Galbraith, he was around forever, about 13 years. He has 490. Craig came into tonight with 460 plus.
Craig has caught 3 tonight. 2nd and 8. Montana will keep it, and he really pays the price at the 41-yard line. Takes a double shot there from Vaughn Johnson and Pat Swopes.
Now, I'm sure that George Seifert is very close to grabbing Joe and taking him off to the side and say, all right, Joe, I admire your competitive spirit, but enough is enough. This is not the way to survive in this league as a quarterback, especially a quarterback as frail's not the right word, but tender might be a better word to describe Joe Montana.
3rd and a short 7 at the 42-yard line. Montana firing. The catch is made at the 22-yard line by Terry Greer, who had several good seasons in Canada, and Terry Greer makes the catch.
And we've got a fight going back up at midfield. Pretty good one now. It's Pat Swilling right in the middle of this. Swilling got himself in the middle of about 5 49ers. Not too well advised. No flag on the ground.
Nope. Fight taking place about 50 yards from where they're going to eventually wind up.
First down, you said. Here, completed pass, first down.
Completed pass. That's Greer's first catch of the season. Not a bad time for it if you're a 49er fan. 27 yards.
What a great career Greer had up in the Canadian Football League. Here's how that fight started. Little push on Swilling, and he reacted. That was Jesse Sapolu that came in and took a little right uppercut at Pat Swilling while he was standing there, and Al alluded to the fact that he was all alone back there. his Saint teammates headed to the other end of the field, and Pat was left to confront about 5 or 6 red shirts all alone.
Montana now over 300 yards for the night. 302 to be exact. First and 10 at the 15-yard line, and Roger Craig takes it inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line. Stopped by Frank Warren and close to a first down.
And this is the stage of a ball game where you start seeing a defensive team. They have one of 2 choices: attack the ball or stand around and watch. And right now, the New Orleans Saints defense has more than its share of guys willing to stand around and let the other guy make a tackle. Let's see if we can watch the lead block. That's Tom Rathman going right at Ricky Jackson. And Ricky Jackson puts the head down, but to do that, he loses sight of the ball carrier, so he stays on his feet, but he has no idea where the ball is. An effective lead block by Tom Rathman.
2nd and 1 from the 7. It's Rathman. He has the first down. 1st and goal now at the 4, and the Niners not only eating up the yardage, eating up the clock as well. Down to 8:10 to play.
Rathman again. We saw that block on Ricky Jackson, but Rathman goes about 230, 235. He can take on those linebackers, and he likes it, and he looks for them. He is an old-fashioned football player. Old-fashioned football player with an old-fashioned haircut. Got the old crew top. He said, I asked him yesterday, I said, I bet you're heartbroken about your Huskers losing to Colorado, and he said, well, I'm heartbroken and I'm broke.
First and goal, San Francisco at the 4. Montana throwing and open, and can you believe that? Stops the presses. Rice dropped one.
Rice dropped that pass, but what a great effort on the part of Montana to recognize him, pick him up. Dave Waymer was trying to offer the coverage, but Montana looked like he was going to put the head down, go to the end zone. Rice was wide open, put it right in his hands, and I think it just stunned Rice. How close did Waymer come to touching that ball? I don't know if Waymer distracted Jerry when he went for it. Now watch Waymer. Almost got a finger on it, but he missed it, and that ball just hits Jerry Rice in the face, man.
The man is human. I can't believe it. Craig. And he runs right into Waymer. And Vaughn Johnson as well. It'll be 3rd and goal.
And now it appears that the tempers are starting to flare a little bit on both sides. I think frustration on the part of the Saints. They came into this game knowing full well if they were going to have any run at the division at all, they're going to have to win tonight. They are going to fall 3 back. But the Rams really the only team realistically that can overtake the 49ers in this division. And it was the Rams who beat the 49ers earlier, but they beat them, what, by 1 point? 13-12 a few weeks ago.
Amazingly enough, that's the only game the Niners have played in this stadium this season. Meanwhile, timeout called as Massey is shaken up for New Orleans, and we'll be back right after this. San Francisco on top by 11. Niners trying to go 8-1. And the Saints trying to avoid falling to 4-5. Seifert watches his offense come up to the line on 3rd and goal. Taylor and Rice both set to the left side. Montana looks that way, then looks the other way, and rolls to the right. And Montana will try to run it in, and does! Touchdown!
Well, what else can he do tonight? I don't know. There's very little to say about Joe Montana. Very little to say. He took the talent and designed the perfect offense around it. Give the credit to Bill Walsh for that. Doesn't have the greatest arm in the world. Just a marvelous touch with that arm. He's a good athlete. Doesn't look like he has the kind of speed, but he has the quickness that always seems to get him there. We've been watching this for 11 years.
That was Atkins who gave him the shot at the end, but Joe barely felt it. Got up, spiked the ball. Topher kicks the extra point, and San Francisco leads by 17. Montana tonight has thrown for 3 touchdowns and now run for 1.
Looks like he's trying to find Dwight Clark in the back of the end zone. Discovers that White has retired, so took it in himself.
The luck of winners. They know how to win the whole decade. And right now they are not that far away from equaling the Giants for the best record in the NFL through 9 weeks at a scintillating 8-1. And that the only loss, that 1-point loss to the Rams in a game the 49ers appeared to have in hand, and a Tom Rathman fumble led to a Rams scoring drive. And that's the only blemish on an otherwise perfect slate.
And Rathman's only fumble of the year.
49ers, well, they even up by 18. They're going to still give the Saints something to think about as they do a little flip-flop on the chorus line, and then Cofer puts it in the air and sends it down into the corner and out of bounds.
Is that what they had planned? I wonder if... You know, if it's not enough the way they're manhandling the Saints tonight, look at the 49ers schedule and how many of their remaining games that they get to play here at home.
There's an update now in terms of the vote. Best game performance in the history of Monday Night Football.
Oh, defense hanging right in there with Dick Anderson.
Anderson and Campbell tied.
Dick Anderson. He should have got his PGA card and gone out there and
some player
challenged Hale Irwin, who he was a defensive secondary man with at the University of Colorado a few years back. Both of them could play. Colorado getting some plugs tonight, huh?
Major.
Snow's starting to fall in the Rockies.
From the 35-yard line, Bobby Hebert fires over the middle, and that pass is dropped at the 40 by the tight end Hobie Brenner. Well, the Saints not only in big trouble as far as the division is concerned, because they're going to be 4 games behind San Francisco, but as far as the wild cards are concerned, the Eagles right now would be 1 wild card at 6-3. And then you've got the Rams at 5-4, the Bears at 5-4, and the Packers at 5-4, all ahead of the Saints.
A team that came in here having won 3 in a row and feeling awfully good about themselves. And rightfully so. They just met a very tough 49er ball club tonight.
2nd and 10. And Hebert is taken down at the 31-yard line. Kevin Fagan played his college ball at Miami. Gets the sack.
The thing that the 49ers have done so well this year as they go to an 8-1 record is they've been able to bring in people. Well, they, of course, replaced Jeff Fuller. And then Ronnie Lott was out for those 5 weeks. They've lost linebacker Jim Farnhorst. Michael Walter was hurt. Michael Carter, the nose tackle, who is so strong against the run. They've been able to put people in there and get the job done with them.
3rd and 14 from the 31-yard line. And Hebert throws, and the catch is made at the 46-yard line by Floyd Turner, and he has the first down as the rookie out of northwestern Louisiana. And it's the school Bobby Hebert attended, makes the catch. First down at the 50. And without a huddle, here come the Saints. Hebert's throw, and the catch is made at the 45 by Brett Perryman. Just to follow up on Fuller, Frank, he's home from the hospital. He has some movement in his hand and his wrist. They're still testing him for nerve damage in his right arm. Doctors say, well, he's doing about as well as can be expected.
And we wish him well.
Yes, sir. 2nd down and 5 from the 45-yard line. And this is Turner, who gets bumped out of bounds right at the first down mark.
I guess the doctors, though, in Jeff Fuller's case, are still saying that it's far too early to tell how much of the use of his right arm that he's going to be able to attain, if not all of it. And, of course, it's foolish to even speculate as to whether or not he's ever going to play football again. Right now, that's not of a great deal of importance. Jeff at the game here tonight, sitting up in one of the boxes. provided by Ed DeBartolo to his injured players. They don't sit in the stands. They get to sit up in a box with their family. It's nothing but first-class treatment here if you play for the 49ers.
From the 40-yard line, over the middle, the catch is made by Eric Martin, and he takes it to the 33. Darryl Pollard makes the tackle. Saints moving without a huddle, down by 18 points and under 5 minutes remaining. 2nd and 3. Hebert, catch is made. Jordan has it, and a first down. New Orleans at the 26-yard line. It's Johnny Jackson and Darryl Pollard in on the hit.
Good concentration on the part of Jordan, who was playing for the first time in 5 weeks with that pulled hamstring. He knew he was going to get hammered. He did.
Niners nearly jump, but there's no flag. Here's Turner making the catch, avoiding 2 men, then 3, but not a 4th as he's tackled at the 9-yard line by Chet Brooks. Nice move by Turner.
And really, by far and away, the best the Saints have looked in the entire second half. Been their best drive. The best Hebert and his receivers have been able to make connections. Of course, all of that because the 49ers are playing back off the ball.
And 1st and goal, then all of a sudden it's picked off at the 2-yard line by Eric Wright, and you can write a complete finish to this one. Intended for Perryman. Eric Wright makes the interception, and there goes the Saint drive and the ball game.
Just overthrown and right into the arms of Eric Wright, who's made a couple of big plays tonight. Former All-Pro cornerback. Here's Hebert. Looking for Perryman, number 80. And that ball, you can see the way that it doesn't have much of a spin on it. That just floated off the fingers of Bobby Hebert. And if Perryman didn't get him, this was 6 points. Oh, yeah. For Eric Wright. No one in front of him. Only Bobby Hebert, and you got the feeling that this guy wasn't going to catch him. But the ball just floated off Hebert's fingers. And Dossie's eat.
First Saint turnover of the night. From the 25-yard line. And this is Flagler as they go to the bench right now, picking up 2. Funny thing about Wright, you go back to that 49ers Saint game in New Orleans on October 8th, a couple of key calls, both going against the Saints in that one. You had the controversy over Jerry Rice's touchdown where he was juggling and fumbling the ball before he got in, and that wasn't overruled. And then at the end, Wright with Perryman on a call that was not made in the end zone.
Right.
And in fact, Eric was quoted after the game as saying it was pass interference.
Yeah, isn't it amazing when you lose how many of those you can find?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny when you're out here in the Bay Area and you talk to people, and they have a feeling that there's a perception around the country that the 49ers aren't that good. That they feel like when the super teams are mentioned, the 49ers aren't among them. And I said, I don't know who you're talking to or who you're listening to. I mean, this is a football team that is 8-1, could easily be 9-0, and is every bit as good as they look. And speaking of looking, we're of course looking forward to 3 weeks from now when the team that they will have the same record as the Giants at 8-1 will be here in Candlestick Park, and we'll be bringing you that game. And right now, when you look at the standings and you look at the records, and those two considerably out in front of everyone else, you wonder if that game won't be for home field advantage in the NFC come playoff time, because the loser of that game will have to finish a full game ahead of the other team to get home field advantage.
3rd down and 6. And this is Rathman. And let's face it, the Meadowlands is not a place, as the Saints will take a timeout here to stop the clock, and then they get a free timeout at the 2-minute warning. But the 49ers know what it's like to play in the Meadowlands in a playoff game, and they don't like that thought.
Although they showed me something when they went to Soldier Field and won last year on a bitterly cold day and beat the Bears.
Handily. Meanwhile, let's go back to yesterday afternoon to the Los Angeles Coliseum and to that left fielder of the Kansas City Royals, one Bo Jackson, from his own 8-yard line. Takes a little toss from Schrader, and see you later.
Sprinter stride, look at that. I'm watching it qualifying for the Olympics or something.
And we said it before. He's the first man in the history of the National Football League to have 2 runs of 90 or more yards in his career.
Well, that was a great run, but the run he made for the touchdown right after that, or right before that, the 7-yard run when he carried tacklers into the end zone, that showed an entirely different dimension to Bo Jackson.
Well, you tell me now, what's the bigger story? Bo Jackson and his contributions, or Art Shell being 4-1 as the head coach of the Raiders? I mean, this team bears no resemblance in terms of intensity and the way they're playing the game to the Raiders before Art Shell took over.
Helton's punt taken by Harris at the 27-yard line. And Harris brings it back out to the 36-yard line, and we have come upon the 2-minute warning. Candlestick Park, where San Francisco has it in hand, leading by 18. Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Dan Deerdorf with the 9th week of the season winding down with the 49ers in excellent shape. A huge lead, 3 games in the NFC West over the Rams, 4 over New Orleans. And again, the Niners with 5 of their remaining 7 games here at Candlestick. 2 minutes to go, 1st and 10 New Orleans, trailing by 18, Saints from their own 35-yard line. Hebert throws, and it's picked off at the 37-yard line by Chet Brooks.
Big Stan Brock may have saved the touchdown.
Well, you can do that when you're laying back in that prevent defense. Good coverage behind. Chet Brooks with his first career interception, but he was coming for that all the way. Laying back in that 6 defensive back prevent defense. Stepped up, made the diving interception, and almost took it all the way in.
Well, what more can you say about the 49ers? We know what they can do offensively, and again, defensively, worth noting, minus Fuller, minus Carter, minus Keena Turner. And here they are limiting the Saints to 1 touchdown and 2 field goals. Flagler. And it's up to the Saints now to determine whether or not they want to end their misery sooner or later.
I guess this is where you let the clock run and go catch your plane.
You touched on it, though, Al. The Saints have been pretty hot offensively coming in here, and while the Niner defense and Joe Montana had a great night, the 49er defense was special tonight. They shut off Bobby Hebert's at 5 consecutive games of over 250 yards passing. You saw the numbers a moment ago, a little over 180 yards tonight out of 33 attempts.
So the Saints fly home after the game, and then it's on to New England next week, and then it's on to Atlanta the following week. Only one of their next 6 games in the Superdome. Here's Flagler, and he's going to try to stay in bounds, and he does. At the 15-yard line, under a minute now. George Seifert is picking up where Bill Walsh left off, and Jim Mora is going to have to regroup now with his unit.
Jim Mora, Jack Kemp's old roommate at Occidental College. Jack Kemp, of course, the Secretary of HUD now, and the former great Buffalo Bills quarterback. Another speedy affair tonight.
Yeah. They're going to play this one in under 3 hours. And that is news. Here's your final play of the game. It ends on a kneel down by Montana, and the 49ers are 8-1. Big night for Rice, big night for Montana. And the 49ers in great shape. 3-game lead in the West. Meanwhile, the results of the vote, best game performance Monday night, Earl Campbell nudging Dick Anderson at the very end.
Earl the Pearl. Tyler Rose. Eddie DiBartolo, the owner, congratulating the 49ers individually.
Gentlemen, we shall reconvene in the House of Pain.
Yes, and a big game for both of those teams because Cleveland leads in the AFC Central, and Houston and Cincinnati each a game behind.
Look at Eddie and Joe.
And as we mentioned, the 49ers, with that win, they have now clinched the title, the team of the decade, at least as far as the regular season is concerned. The best regular season record over a 10-year period, and 3 Super Bowls to boot. Convincing win tonight, 31-13.